Hi, everyone. Nora here again. Okay, I'm finally doing it. October 9th, 2023. The delay has finally come to no longer. Has come to an end because I've decided I'm going to start this collection. I actually started it before. I might put those other things in this playlist, but this is going to be unscripted and sometimes uncensored and unfiltered. So brace yourself if I am swearing or different things that may trigger, which is for another conversation. And always remember that triggering is basically a blessing in disguise. Okay. So if I say something that you get upset about, or you are offended, or whatever the case, please look at it as a blessing in disguise. Okay. Because the spiritual part of what I will say in Life's Connections is you are meant to hear this when you are meant to hear it. I'm supposed to arrive in your life whenever that is in divine timing for you. And so if you are saying to yourself, because you already don't believe in anything, I can't believe she said that. How does she know? Is she psychic? What is this? I don't believe in this bullshit, whatever. All you need to know, there is a divine orchestration of your life. Okay, that's all you need to know. You don't need to know or think about I guess I should say, you don't have to believe in God as a higher being. You don't have to believe in any of those things, but I'm going to tell you that there is a divine orchestration of it all, however you want to label it. Okay, for me, I may say the divine, I may say creator, I may say source, I may say oneness, I might say, did I say universe? I may repeat myself. Um, I really like using the divine. I actually really like using the Most High. I just like that. So beautiful. And, from my poetic writing days, anything language touches me, anything of that sort of world speaks to my soul. So I want to get that out of the way. I'm going to make a separate collection for this kind of these kind of shows, which are basically, like I just said, I'm going to wing it. Whatever comes out is going to come out. But I also do want some sort of order, because if I'm going from topic to topic, it's going to be really confusing. So basically today, I will talk about all sorts of things. I don't know how far I'm going to go into talking about a lot of my personal relationships, because the reason that I don't do that is I don't want to be that person who's always talking about specifically certain people, what they're doing, what they're everything. And we don't need to know. And I like to keep things private. And it's kind of like being a mom, the mom that's always just talking about her kids, just always, just always that focus, while those things obviously are a huge part of my life. Okay. So I will talk about all sorts of things, but I will try to label, or at least put in the contents, what I'm going to talk about. The only downside of doing this is that I probably should do a meditation before I get into this, like right now. For example, today I was like, okay, I want to start. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to type anything up. And basically, since I don't know what people want to know, I am still, my audience, those of you specializing as first responders, right? That's my main specialty: mental health, suicide talk. I know that I would hope the younger generation has heard enough stories that would like to prevent PTSD and things like that, right? But it requires a certain level of maintenance and efforting in your self-care. And I would like to help them basically harmonize in their lives, your lives, if you are a first responder listening to this, right? EMT, paramedic, cop, firefighter, all of that. And I will explain to you more maybe in the next segment, aside from what I want to talk about today, because or in the next follow-up video, not only just my interest in them, but the experiences that I have had in helping them. Okay, so to back it up, being unscripted is that at the beginning of life's journey, I'm going to speed it up to the point of when I really started learning, I guess, about the soul and different things like that, depending on what you believe. I talked about in my last video when I was talking about with friends of looking at this as a school. It sounds really funny, Earth School, right? And you'll hear me talk about different things. It sounds like hippie shit, but and some of it is. And I would say I'm half hippie, but I also basically integrate in all of my studies and my belief systems and everything that I am, Eastern and Western philosophies. I believe the body knows how to heal itself, the power of the subconscious mind. Yes, I believe in herbs, essential oils, all those sorts of things, but I'm not going to put an essential oil on a broken foot. Okay? So basically, in growing and expanding myself and learning about all that sort of stuff from my holistic background, that's where we are, where I am today, that I can speak from both sides, you know? Of course, I have my different opinions about the pharmaceutical world and government and things like that. I've always been an activist there. Okay. So that's a short glimpse of my background. I think, again, like it says in some different videos, but I have to talk about it again in case you are just listening to this for the first time. So, beginning of the journey when you don't know what the fuck is going on, you're just experiencing life. I don't know what if I want to say that these are robots, but basically younger souls, younger people, immature. When I say that, I mean you are not. The stuff that I talk about in mission and calling work is kind of new to you. Like you don't really know what that means. You don't know you have gifts to offer. I always knew what I, had to offer from a very young age. And I thought that it was going to be in different areas. So, okay, teenagers, domestic violence, now first responders. So getting to today, I can't believe I completed that in under 7 minutes. Okay. So I was thinking, what do people want to know? This whole feeling loneliness thing, sense of belonging. What are you doing here? A deeper purpose. How do I manage myself? I didn't know there was a way to manage myself, depending on the different ways, that you grew up. So what spawned this today? Okay, so I'm sitting in the park. So I'm in Sacramento. For those of you who don't know, I'm sitting in this park and I'm getting ready to go take a walk in this beautiful area with these magnificent houses. Oh, I know what I was going to go into illusions. So these beautiful houses, right, where I could go into so many different perspectives on talking about them, meaning, who's living here? Did these people inherit it? Or do these people have money? Are they in debt? And I think just that part of there is kind of a good way to go to transition and talk about illusions, because you grow up having this idea in your mind about your reality, right? I talk about programming and conditioning, and you have an idea what you were trained and taught. If you want to say program, those of us who have watched TV, looking, at the media, most of my influence, it's funny, that was so affected by media and culture. The inside of my home, I would say, was a pretty good, if you want to say normal and stable, family life with my dad and my stepmom and my stepbrother, even though, the stuff going on with my mom, who I saw every summer, but basically she gave me to my dad, and she had the narcissistic qualities and different sorts of things that evolved with mental illness. Okay, so illusions. I think to sum it up, with all of that being said, is that you create, so illusions, something that you create in your mind that you believe to be true. Okay, and I can give so many different examples, but one of my lifelong lessons in dealing with my self-worth, I've talked about this before, that while everybody's learning lessons, that self-worth component is a lot of, I feel life is basically like, are you going to do something or not? Are you going to take action or not? Are you going to get over your fears? And you will continue to get these lessons until you heal them. Okay, so back to illusions. You create these things in your mind to be true, and then a lot of us find down the road, either when you become an adult or you learn, certain things, you talk to certain people, you meet different types of people, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought. And that comes with opening and expanding our minds, which for me, listening to ethnic music and trying different foods really helped expand my mind. Like, I cannot even imagine going back to the way that I was. I mean, I guess I could, but I was just different. And so if you look around at all the different illusions, you think about, if you are the person looking at culture and American culture and how mainstream, we'll use the word mainstream culture lives, you either relate, I feel it's either you relate to it or you don't. Okay. And so for me, people like me who cannot relate and understood from a very young age, like, you just felt different, right? I felt like I also looked different, and, not necessarily, I mean, people still ask me, like, kind of like, what are you, or what are you mixed with? Like, I don't totally look Asian. Some people say I look white. Some people say I look Mexican. Some people say, whatever, Filipino, which is funny because my mom is Thai. There's a big mix in there. It's like, I just found out it's like Thai, Mongolian, Chinese. I always knew Native American from my dad. I'm like an eighth Cherokee, East Indian, Iberian, all these things. So beautiful, Euro-Asian, but I did not always think that. And so my dad's the Scottish, Irish, and Native American side. So feeling all of those sorts of things, I feel like we can all relate to it in a sense. Even the people that follow the crowd or mainstream, I think they still deny certain parts of themselves, even if you're a nerd, right? You just like to read. Like, if the people around you are big drinkers and partiers and all that sort of stuff, and you're the one who says, like, I don't want to go, like, you're the black sheep. So there's a sense of that, not trusting who you are and being accepted, all of those sorts of stuff that you will hear. Some people we hear, maybe not later in life, or you don't get it or don't understand. It's the same thing. The talk of self-care, self-worth, the confidence in yourself, and all of those things that I had such issues with growing up. So my biggest, I guess, in sharings of, like, I was that person, while my music and my strength and my writing helped me, I still had that lack, that feeling of, not belonging. And so I know that this is a typical issue, and different things now continue on, especially with social media. And again, the physical image, the culture's push on that, because it isn't really advocated to work on yourself, or even that your inner character matters. We're very impulsive, which is also why people go into sexing right away. There's no, since I only know what I know, which is basically all of the couple of relationships that I've had, always started off as friends. Like, I never really, it was never like that. You just meet somebody and you immediately bang. I could see how it could happen, but with all of the nerves and the everything going on and anxiety, you'd have to have drinks, I think, to be able to go that far and take initiative. So, like I said, this is unscripted, and I really didn't know exactly where I wanted to go with this, but I think just starting with wanting to share with you that I don't know, people view people differently. Maybe they view me as like, oh, she seems very confident and independent, and she doesn't need anything, and she doesn't have any problems. And I don't know, but what I know is that I can see how people would think that, but I'm just like anybody else, in the sense that I still have insecurities. I think we're all insecure, and to some degree, and when we are secure, like, it may only be temporarily, because something else is going to come along, and maybe trigger us or make us go back into those states. And when you feel like you've healed and worked on certain things come up again, or new things, like people say, peeling an onion. So it's not about me, like, this is me and for real and being down to earth and always just wanting to talk. Actually, I didn't learn social skills again till later on in life, but I'm so glad that I did. But to be able to share with you, like, I was not the person to talk, especially if you have conflicts like with your couple of friends. We usually would just like not talk for a while or just stop talking. And I don't think that that was a good thing. You know, it's again another life skill would like to have learned. So I really did just go off on a tangent, but I'm just gonna go and not worry about re-recording, okay? But you're gonna hear me repeat myself a lot where I'm like, okay, what were we talking about again? Which is going back to illusions. Why I bring up illusions is for several reasons, not only just creating your reality, but realizing, fuck, the world is not like what I thought. And not only that, when you overcome your fears, um, you realize it wasn't a fear. It's my favorite, what's the word acronym? False evidence appearing real. It's different. And I'm talking about those illusions in the mind. I'm not talking about like real, other fears that I don't necessarily need to overcome. Like I don't need to overcome my fear of crocodiles or sharks or whatever, my longtime fears of things like that. But even like the closed spaces and I'm not saying I have my breath work all dialed down now, like I'm not going to get scared in a small space, but knowing how to control your body and having my little not little, but my confrontation with a family member that happened right before self-defense and I was shaking. I'd gone to a yoga event that weekend and you would have thought I would have learned some skills, but I didn't. Like it took me like, I don't know. It felt like it was forever. It might only been 10 minutes, but I was just shaking and I couldn't calm myself down. And just like, I wish I had known these things about my body just to know, like, to just stop. Not only, if you've heard me talk about this before, that I didn't tell the person to stop when they were in my face, but like the body reactions. So that's for another story and segment. I think I've only briefly talked on the self-worth and the self-defense thing. Okay, so illusions. I wish I could think of, like, there's so many different illusions. Okay, I gave you, if we're talking about perspective of the world, okay, American culture, these houses, the way people look, the putting the pictures up online of them smiling and happy. And I'm not saying that they're not happy, but I think believing it's almost like the fascination of like intrigue of human behavior and serial killers and all that sort of stuff. And all these people around us is basically don't think that the average, regular, normal looking person or family is not capable or they won't do things like this. I think there's enough in the media and movies and everything, oh, they were so beautiful and they seem so happy. And how did this happen or why? You never know what's going on behind closed doors. The movie American Beauty, which I was going to post on, is another example of just, again, the illusions from the outside and what's going on behind closed doors. So, again, young people, the young people are definitely more conscious. And so that helps kind of speed things up. You just haven't really experienced yet with other people. Exactly, because there's life lessons, but in particular, like what you're supposed to be learning. And so let's just go ahead and stop here in terms of the illusions, and I will switch gears in the next video that I plan on doing today. We'll see where I go with it. I think I might have to talk about some first responder mental health stuff, which basically is going to come from my perspective. I don't have to be a first responder to relate, but I think I'm going to talk about the whole betrayal thing. And you thought those people were your homies or homegirls and the feelings of that. I might just do a small little section on it while I'm thinking about it, so I'm not driving around. with all these different thoughts. But illusions, people. I know it sounds like I'm talking about something fantastical and out of this world, but really I think it's looking beyond the surface. Everything that in this life, as a human being, as we've been going, think about what, as an adult especially, like, what have you been shown, and then what did you end up finding out that was false about it? And like I said, there's so many examples. Okay, we'll end with this one. Guns. Since there was no crime where I lived in Pennsylvania, I don't even know why, though my dad, he knew how to shoot a gun and he owned a gun, but he never taught me about it. I felt like he kept me very sheltered. And the only way I went into the city or deal with anything of that in Baltimore, when we'd go to this Filipino grocery store, for like a half an hour or something like that. And so I was always, everything, remember, is all fear-based because I felt very sheltered. And he wanted to live out there. He drove about 2 hours a day basically for us to live in the country in a way. So he traveled to like Baltimore, like area-ish, to work. Okay, guns. Why I realized that the media had done this, why would I just think that a gun would go off? Just go off, just like, why? Okay, so I don't even know how it works. I don't even know anything. Just fear, watching stuff from the TV, people pointing it at other people, blah, blah, blah. When at this point now, since I really don't give a care in terms of fear of death, because I know that I'm going to get a better place. I know it's really morbid sounding, but when I laugh about, like, I could be sleeping right now instead of sleeping or doing, drinking more tea over there and sitting, wherever I am, instead of worrying about, things that I want to do in this life to just serve and help, because it's a passion of mine, of course. Okay, so the gun thing, if that were to happen to me now, knock on wood, like they say, I'd kick that shit out of somebody's hand, or I would do things like, I would just do things differently. I wouldn't be under fear. So a lot of this, whether you're going to say, oh, that will never happen to me, or whatever it is, it's mindset training. It doesn't mean I have to carry. It doesn't mean I have to do all of these certain things because the world is getting worse and I have to, like I said, to carry. So, but I want to be equipped, number one, to know how it works, to not be fearful of it. What I say, know how it works, able to use it, not be fearful and scared, because I've spent most of all my life fearing violence and fearing, what would happen, and being helpless, right? That's a part of my journey. Introvert to more extroverted, and from helpless to more empowered. That's why I talk about the human potential, because I cannot believe the person that I've become. I never would have thought it, and never knew, like, self-defense coming into my life. I always wanted to kind of know about it, but okay. So, and again, for those of you who had listened to me before, Krav Maga is where I started. I love it. All the drill training has helped me so much, the different types of drills. And then that just evolved me into boxing, and then Muay Thai, which is part of my culture. Wing Chun I did for a little bit. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I think is just fancy wrestling. I like to make fun of it. But not a lot of places will teach self-defense jiu-jitsu in Sacramento. What else have I tried? I kind of want to try judo because it gets you thrown on the ground more, and I'm still just not comfortable falling. I don't know if I will do that. And maybe something else that I've forgotten, stick fighting. All of that stuff is creating the mindset, which is how I come to be when I'm teaching a workshop, or what I would do for first responder mindset. There would be 3 moves I would go over in teaching the mindset. Here I go, getting sidetracked again. Okay, so the guns. After I learned how to shoot, and I learned how they work, and I was like, God, why did I... Other than it startling me, it's like, why was I so scared? Like, so dumb. And you look at it just like not being educated. That's all that it was. false evidence appearing real, all due to society and media, like making me, I feel like, scared, increasing the fear in us. And like I said, I know that sounds so funny, but kicking that shit out of somebody's hand, I mean, if they're that close enough anyway, the chance, but I was going to say is risk. Okay. I mean, just because they shoot me doesn't mean I'm going to die. Somebody could shoot you like in your arm or your foot. And you also have a certain amount of time with, how much blood you're losing. But like just thinking just because you get shot, like you're going to die, like that equals dying. And like I said too, the death, I learned so much in not like fearing that. I think the fear though of the not dying is that I have a lot of work to do here, of course, because of course you were always with each other, but I didn't really, like, you don't want to incense earlier in life the whole thought of leaving your loved ones. You're just thinking differently. Like, there are things that you learn you really aren't going to learn. It's a progression in a evolution. I think I probably thought too I actually wasn't going to live that long, just because like you can't foresee like what's going on in your life. So here I've made it to age 46, and I'm probably going to make it, another whatever it comes to be, like 50 something years or whatever it is. 88 seems to be a good age. um So I know that was a lot of information, but I think I'm glad I came to one example to give you. I have so many other examples that really this is all about mindset. We haven't even talked about creating reality and the formula for doing that for anything you want in your life. But it really just depends on what kind of life you like. And a lot of us in my age range too, 40s or whatever it is, like, because has been an authoritarian structure. When I say that, meaning we are governed right from birth. Your parents are telling you no. I'm sure depending on, or whoever was around, somebody was telling you no, right? And we don't really look at it like that. And those that weren't born with a certain level of confidence where you are just badass, like you just believe in yourself, like you have that strong sense of self. You are not only going to be bullied or backed down, you just have the confidence to stand up for yourself, and not like people like me who are people pleasers. And I don't know initially if that's part of a Leo quality. By the way, astrology is another way to get to know. Remember, I told you hippie shit, but it's actually very scientific. Astrology will tell you a lot about yourself and color personality. So I will let you people know in on some of the secrets. Astrology, color personality, and there's a bunch of different other systems out there if you want to know about yourself. And as far as your destiny and all of those different things, once you start getting into spiritual stuff, it's so deep. It's stuff I'll probably never really know all the ins and outs of it. But I think just to be able to share with you guys everything that I've learned thus far in like the holistic model of healing and my personal experiences from being so introverted, I'm just happy to share with you. Okay, so I finished with the gun. So I need to do some video training too. I keep putting that off, and I want to do we do active shooter drills and different stuff at my self-defense school. And I'm hopefully gonna do just more with that in the future, or assisting. Not sure what's going on there. What else was I gonna say? Overcoming fear. I think I'm getting lost in my thinking there, because there was a lot of information from being introvert. I think I was going to go there and like the human's potential, but I will share with you whatever it is that you want to know. I think I just need to hear from people what they are most curious about. Love and relationships is one of my favorite topics, and the different levels of love and true love, finding love with oneself, all of those sorts of things that I can tell you at the end of the road if you ask me, okay, who the hell cares? What's going to happen when I learn these things? Well, you are going to feel badass, is what you're going to feel. And the freedom. I think I can put into words the freedom. If you want to have the freedom in life to basically live your life freely, and what I mean, like, with no rules or rules governed by, other people, the pressures of feeling you have to live your life a certain way and be a certain way. If it's all that, I don't know where you're at. So and if you ask me, okay, how do I do that? Then, it's a process, and this is not going to be overnight, people. So I'm willing and am dedicating the rest of my life to doing this and helping anybody who wants to learn. I'm just putting out my stuff here. I don't really give a care. It's not really about liking or not liking my videos or anything. I'm just providing a space for my diaries and my experience. It's cool if you like it or not. Me having to deal with myself finally through these last 5 years of that I'm not for everybody. It's not that it has been an epiphany, it's been an embracing of it, because I have always been myself and feel like I care and want to serve and all that stuff. I could cry talking about this. Is that you can be, I think of that Mother Teresa, like, I don't know if you want to call it a proverb, little paragraph that says, she basically says, just keep doing what you're doing. That it's not between you and them, as in the outside world, right? It's between me and God or source or divine, right? It's between me and, so I'm doing what I'm doing. People could still hate on me. People could say that I'm trying to be better, or I'm this or that, which is so not the case, because the humbleness of realizing, like, I've just never been like that. I always want to learn. And when I looked at other people, it was more so always, if it was something I was inspired by, it's like, okay, how can I be more like that? How can I do that? It was the girl thing in comparing myself was a total another issue. Freedom in and of self, freedom from worrying about your physical image so much and comparing yourself, freedom from all of, like, the little challenges and everything that I feel like we go through, like, within the comparing ourselves to others, right? Because we are not confident within ourselves and our abilities, and that we are unique. Like, there's so much freedom when I say, if you want to feel more free, if you want to know what this is all about and the bigger picture, and just you, and feel more of a sense of belonging and find your tribes. It might be multiple tribes, you know. Oh, I know I said I was going to end this. When I was getting coffee at my place, I'm pretty obsessive about coffee and tea, people. Like, jasmine tea is my favorite. But I was in this place, and it's kind of a dirty little spot, but it's cute. It was reminding me of not only how I was a snob, but I feel like all of us, like, we have our little tribes, right, that we relate to, whether it's culturally or, first responders. I laugh about being like your own separate cult. Like, I didn't know any before, like, unless you're wearing a uniform, like, we don't know who you are. And like, art snobs, or back in the day, tattoo snobs, or me, music snob, like, being in your own circle and, like, thinking, like, just being a jerk to other people. I was actually never a jerk to other people. I was just a snob about my music. I only liked my certain type of music. And so being open to making acquaintances. They don't even have to end up necessarily being a friend, but outside of your circle, like being open to it, and again, you could use an illusion there, like don't think that they can't relate to you. Don't think because I'm not a first responder, like I can't relate to you. And one of my biggest things is if somebody asked me, oh, well, what ways I can relate other than like the mindset training, is definitely the wanting to die. Okay. So 12 years old, wanting to run away and die because my dad was calling me stupid all the time. Okay. So these are like the roots of all of that abandonment issues, illusions in my mind I created. And so I've been dealing with self-worth issues about my place and purpose in the world since about 12. And I'm out of breath. This was a lot of information. Okay, people, friends, my people, I don't know what to call you. But maybe go back and listen to this if it was too much for you. But I did cover a lot. Illusions. Maybe I need to break this up into 2 segments. Illusions, freedom in and of self, being yourself. What kind of life do you want? Do you want somebody else to govern it? Do you think somebody else has been governing it? Like, do you feel like you've been living the life that you want, or do you feel like you've been living somebody else's life, or that, somebody else wants you to live? I already said that, I repeated it. So I'm for you if you feel any of those sorts of things and you want to try something different. And it's the holistic model that's going to help you. It's not one thing you do. Even with coaching, this video coaching basically is video coaching or speaking events. I would just go in and kind of summarize in the model these different areas and resources you can go into and pursue and help you just not want to give up. But your intention, number one, in all of this is like the most important thing. Okay, my people? So 37 minutes and 20 seconds. I will go ahead and end here. And I hope this provided some sort of value in some sort of way and insight. And I will talk to you next time. Some of these I will be doing actual like video. You can see my face in some of the other ones, but when I'm not prepared, I'm just going to record like this because, sometimes it's good. It is actually good to do the face and face because you can see my face and face. My just different. It's just, I know it can and help and be more engaging, and then all these sorts of things. Keep it live. So I will see you next time. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to check out my other videos, and I will be creating for first responders, and that's what I'm going to be working still on here and there. I will asking around, trying to talk to other guests, but right now I think it's October, so I may try to have another guest on, but right now I might actually just focus on my solos because there's just so much that I have in my vault of my brain. And anyway, I'll look forward to that, to sharing this with you. All right, so thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.